Okay, boys and girls, today we're going to go over some other polygons, and we need to figure out their areas. Okay, so let me just move on here. Okay, so a couple things real quick. Sometimes it's easy to break up a shape, and then from there, then you could be able to figure out the area for each shape that you broke it up into. So for example, oops, sorry about that. So for example, this trapezoid here. If you didn't know the formula for a trapezoid, I could break it up into two triangles here, and that would help me because I could figure out the area of one triangle versus the area of another triangle and then just add it up. The next one down here at the bottom, so you see that this is a hexagon, but it's not a regular hexagon, so it would be pretty difficult to find the area. So one thing that you could do is, if I draw a line here, I would have two identical triangles. I could figure out their area, and then you'll notice I have a rectangle, and we all know how to do a rectangle: length times height. So that would, length times width. So that would give me the area here, and then I'd figure out the area for my triangles, which are 1/2 base times height for each one, and then add those together, and then you would have the area of that shape. Okay, so here's what I'd like you to do. If you could download this lesson and do the lesson on paper, that would be probably easier. But if not, if you have another piece of paper, it's going to be kind of tricky to do this, but what you need to do is divide each of these shapes up. So the first one is divide the pentagon into a triangle and a trapezoid, and then for number 2 is divide the octagon into two trapezoids and a rectangle. So if you're able to kind of draw it on a piece of paper and then try to break it up, if not, if you could maybe just use your finger and on your screen kind of like draw where you think it would be, or if you download this and you could be able to draw on there. If not, it's okay. I'm going to go over it so you can see. So what I'd like you to do is pause and then hit play when you're ready. Okay, so for the first one here, it says divide the pentagon into a triangle and a trapezoid. And the reason why we would do that is because this is not a regular pentagon, so it would be difficult to find the area. So all I would need to do is draw a line right here. And if I draw a line right there, here's my triangle. And then over here, this is my trapezoid, because we have one set of parallel sides, and that would be my trapezoid. Next one is divide the octagon into two trapezoids and a rectangle. So I'm going to show you what most kids do when they get it wrong, and I'll erase this then. So most kids do this, and then they're wrong because if you look over here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So that is not what we want. So to do this, to make it into two trapezoids, because that would not be a trapezoid, is to actually draw this way, so vertically. So if I would do it like that, you can see now I have a trapezoid. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, and then right in the middle you can see that would be my rectangle. That one's a little tricky. Okay, so what we're going to do today is this. You're going to get a shape, and it's a trapezoid, so you should be able to figure out because it's a trapezoid. However, we're going to break it up into a square and a triangle, and then what you need to do is figure out the area of the whole shape. So let me just go over a couple things here. So what they give you is they give you the area of the square, which is 144, and it's centimeters squared. They tell you for the triangle that this is the base, or the height, it really doesn't matter because there's a right angle there, is 16. So what you need to do is we want to figure out 1, the triangle, and then 2, we have the square, and 3, we're going to add it together. So if this is the triangle, here's the square, and this is the last shape. So the square I already know is 144 centimeters squared. That's the area. They gave it to me. So how do I figure out the triangle? Well, I'm missing something for the triangle to figure it out is the height, or the base, because it's a right angle, but I'm going to say the height. I notice that this is a square, and the square's area is 144. That's important because I can now figure out each side. You are not dividing by 4. You're taking the square root of 144. The reason why is to figure out the area of this square. Remember, it's length times width. So it's this side times this side, or this side times this side. It doesn't really matter. So the square root of 144 is 12. So each side would be 12. Okay, because 12 times 12 is 144. So what you're looking for, if you forget what square root is, what number times itself will equal the area, which is 144. All right, now I have the information I need for the triangle. So the area of a triangle, you should write the formula. Area is 1/2 times the base times the height. So we have area times the base is 16 times the height, which is 12. So I'm going to take half of 16, which is 8. 8 times 12 is 96. Now all I need to do is add 96 and 144, and I get 244 centimeters squared is my answer. Okay, so let's move on. I want you guys to try this one. You do not need to fill out what they have there, but if you want to, that's fine. That's totally up to you. All right, so try this one, and then we'll go over it. So pause, and then hit play. Okay, so for this one, they tell me that the area is 81 square feet. So I need to do the square root, and the square root would mean that each side is worth 9. Now let's work on our triangle. It's 1/2 base times height. So it's 1/2 times 15 times 9. So what I'm going to do first is I'll just do 15 times 9 is 135. So it's 1/2 of 135, which is 67.5, and that's feet squared. What I need to do is add it to my area of my square, which is 81. And when I do that, I get 148.5, and that is feet squared. And that would be my area for the entire shape. Okay, next one. Oops, sorry about that. We gotta skip ahead a little bit. Alright, so next one, I want you to try it also. It's basically the same type of thing. What you're going to do is, it says that the area of the, we're doing it a little bit differently. You know what, let me do this one first, and then we have another one that's similar. So for this one, they give us the area of the triangle. The area of the triangle is 56. So what I need to do is, for the triangle, I got to find this height first, and it's either the base or the height, it doesn't matter, but we'll call it the height. That will give me one side of the square. So my formula for my triangle is area equals 1/2 base times height. So fill in what you know. I know the area is 56, it tells me, equals 1/2 the base, we'll call it 16, times the height. Simplify. So 56 equals 8 to h, divide by 8, divide by 8. So we have h equals 7. So the height equals 7 inches. All right, I'm going to erase this part right here. Just give me a second. All right, so now what we need to do is this. We got to find the area of the square. So the area of the square is length times width, or side squared. And the side here is 7. So it'll be 7 squared, which equals 49. Now the trapezoid, all I have to do is add 49 plus the triangle, which is 56. And if you do that, you should get 105 inches squared. Okay, so next one. They kind of started it for us, but I do want you to do this one. So it's going to tell you that the area of the square is 64. So it's going to be similar to like the ones that we did before. So what you really need to do is figure out the height here. Then you're going to figure out the triangle. You want to figure out that area. So it's 1/2 base times height. And then add it to the square. So you're going to add it to the square, which is 64. So you have to figure out right here, you got to figure out the height first of that triangle. Okay, so pause, hit play when you're ready, and then I'll go over it. Okay, so for this one, let's rewrite. So I got 64 in here. So I know the square root of 64, it means side times side, would be 8, because 8 times 8 is 64. So I have 8 here. So the area of the triangle is 1/2 base times height. So it's area equals 1/2. The base is, let's say, 8, or the height is 8. It doesn't matter. Times 11. I just wrote it first because I'm going to take half of 8 anyway. So half of 8 is 4. So the area equals 4 times 11. So the area of the triangle is 44. So if the area of the triangle is 44, the area of the square there is 64, and all I need to do is add it, and I get 108, and it's centimeters squared. Okay, let's do, I think this is the last one. So you guys are going to do this one. This is similar to where you have to figure out the height here of the triangle. So let me tell you what they give you. The area of the triangle is 60. You need to figure out this height first, and then figure out the area here for the square. So you want to figure out the height of the triangle. I'll get you started. So the area is 60 equals 1/2 base, we'll call it 12, times the height, which we don't know. Okay, so pause, and then hit play when you're ready. Okay, so what I'm going to do is solve this. So half of 12 is 6, so it's 6h. Divide by 6, divide by 6, so the height is going to be 10. So right here is 10. So we get the area of the square, it's 10 times 10, which is 100. So the area for the entire shape would be 100 for the square, plus 60 for the triangle. So it's going to equal 160 inches squared. And that is, I think, the last problem. Yes. Okay, boys and girls, if you have any questions, you know you could direct message me. You could come to office hours. All right, so have a great day.